Michael Hagan appears at peace with the world, and why wouldn't he be? Coaching the Eels is one of rugby league's best jobs. A strong player roster with very few injuries, ample funding via a rich leagues club, a massive junior base, and playing and training facilities that surpass most other clubs makes the Parramatta head coaching position one of the most sought after in the game. The 2001 Premiership winning coach says last season provided a solid platform from which to build.
Yeah, it was a good year. I think we finished the year extremely well. We were lucky in that we had a lot of our good players playing a lot of games, and that's critical in any year. And I think if we're healthy again this year, we can be reasonably optimistic again.
What were the major changes you made, if any, in the way you prepared your team, or the way you are preparing right now for 2008 versus last year?
I guess we're a little bit better off in that we understand each other a bit more, and I think even the fact that Brett Finch, who came to the club 12 months ago, 18 months ago, now is entrenched in the football team. A guy like Fletty Mateo is now 12 months better, having played 24 games. Kristen Inu the same. Jared Hayne now a 2-year veteran at 20. So I think we're better off just by virtue of experience. Josh Cordova I think is going to be a really good player for us down the track, and had a great year. So we've got some very good young players, I think, that will be better for what they did last year in 2008.
You have, and you mentioned two names there particularly that already have a high profile in the game in Inu and Hayne. A real coup to keep them both, and it says something about the way the club's going in terms of its determination to hold on to its youth.
I think it's important that if you can develop those sort of players, and Parramatta have traditionally produced and developed a lot of good first grade players, and I think it's important that you try and keep them where possible. And I think in the end they're both from this district. They've achieved a lot from this football club, and we think they can be two of the really good players in the game, and we're happy that they've agreed to stay.
Talk to me about the sickness ward, if I can use that expression, the rehab side of things. It appears to be a pretty good off-season for the club. Not that many guys crook or coming back from operations.
No, we're in, I think, pretty good shape to start the year. We knew Ben Smith and Tim Smith would be unlikely to start, but nearly everyone else has got through most things pretty well. We've had the odd thing here and there, but I'm really happy with the fact that we've got most of our players doing most things, and our staff and our management of injury here is very good.
Michael, a number of changes in the rules of the game, not least of which is the changes to the interchange. How much do you expect that to impact on the way the game is played this year?
I think it'll have some impact. I think it will suit some clubs more than others, and I think the good players in the game will get the benefit of the changes, which I think is a good thing. And I think our players, given the amount of time they've had to adjust to 12 changes over the last 8 or 9 years of the NRL, I think it's probably time to apply a bit more pressure to players. A lot of front rowers are now playing upwards of 60 or 70 minutes, so I guess a lot of teams have already changed the way they play, and we've got a couple of guys that might need to work a bit harder on their skin folds, which again they know what's coming, and we've just got to work to the rules.
Talking about skin folds, can I ask what the strategy has been in terms of certainly your forwards? Have you been striving for bulk or striving for mobility in the way you've gone about things?
Well, I think our football team is built on mobility, and I think if you look at blokes like Nathan Kalis, Josh Cordova, even Fui he's a powerful man, but he would only be 105 kg. So I think Nathan Hindmarsh, Daniel Wagon, we've got a lot of work rate and a lot of mobility in our team, and I think that's going to be pretty important.
Been a very definite change in off-season strategy this year. Right across all the clubs we've visited, blokes are not being busted like they were previously.
Well, I think there's some good reasons for that, and I guess what I said earlier in getting your players on the field and keeping them on the field, you've got to manage everyone differently. Our strength conditioning coach Hayden Knowles does it, I think, better than anybody, and we understand the age of the players, how many games they've played, how much work they need to do, and I think that's going to be important to us again this year.
It's no secret that you have a very close relationship with the great Joey Johns. It's no secret he's been down here helping out from time to time. Has he brought to the club what you thought he would?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he's a natural coach. I mean, he's been doing that anyway, indirectly for a number of years with some of the players that we had at Newcastle, and would often go and work with 3 or 4 guys off his own bat and would be part of our week. So he's had plenty of practice, and I think he'll add a really good dimension to our halves and our team here because of how smart he is and how he gets it across.
Just 2 questions left now. The brand of football that the Parramatta Eels will play in 2008, will it be different to what we've seen?
Well, I think there were some really good indicators with the way we played in the second half of the year. I think we've got some really good skill, some good pace. I thought Luke Burt was one of our really good players before he got hurt, and I think he'll form a really good combination with Tim Smith and Brett Finch and Folletti and Mark Riddell. So I think we've got a pretty exciting and entertaining type of team that we can come and watch. The display we put on here against Brisbane in the last round was I guess an indication of what we're capable of, but we know we've got to get the balance right too between doing the hard work and playing footy.
You're not the sort of bloke to make outlandish statements. You sit back now in early February 2008, you've got to be brimming with enthusiasm and excitement about the capabilities, the potential in this team.
I think there's a lot to look forward to, and I think if we can get ourselves out of the blocks all right and we can be thereabouts, I'm confident we'll be not too far off the pace, but I also understand in our game that things can change in the space of a week or two, and your football team that you're working with one week's not the same the next week. So, but I think, all things being equal, we should be looking forward to a pretty good year.
Thanks for your time, mate.
No trouble.
Yes, Eels head coach Michael Hagan, understandably confident regarding his team's chances in 2008. Now on the program, let's check out the club's gains and losses as we count down to 2008. Gone are Aaron Cannings to the Titans, Richard Fayoso to Newcastle, Blake Green to the Sharks, Ian Hindmarsh retired, PJ Marsh to the Brisbane Broncos, Tamana Tahu to New South Wales Rugby, and Justin Sewell to the Bulldogs. The club's only notable recruitment, Joe Nullivow, the former Panthers and South Star. And now the club's pre-season trials. They face the Panthers on Friday night, the 22nd of February. That's at Lavington Sports Ground at Albury. And then on the 1st of March, they face the Roosters at Blue Tongue Stadium in Gosford. A reminder to join me on next week's episode of Rugby League Summertime. The details are now on your screen. We hope you've enjoyed our program today, coming to you from a very damp Parramatta Stadium. We will see you on next week's show when we do it all over again for Warrenora Plumbing Services. We'll see you then.